on 3FM and 92.7 on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We're also live all across the country on 3news.com and our various affiliates on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale and beyond. I am Alfred Ocansey. This evening, the Civil Local Government Staff Association of Ghana kicks against planned payroll audit by the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, questioning the mandate upon which the commission would carry this particular exercise out.
One is at a loss about what they are apt to do, because clearly, from what they stated in their public notice, it's got to do with collective bargaining processes.
We'll get details this evening and a response from the Civil and Local Government Staff Association, CLOCSAG, as it goes ahead at the commission, further describing the move as job for the boys. The Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG, rakes in for the 100 million cedis just 2 days into the ongoing revenue mobilization drive. Managing Director of the power distributor, Samuel Dubik Mahama, speaks to me exclusively right here on Hot Edition on 3FM and 92.7 as Parliament races against time to consider government's additional revenue measures ahead of the Easter break. Members of Parliament are increasingly coming under pressure to respond and suspend the passage of the proposed excise tax bill and the income tax bill. Meanwhile, the Ghana Federation of Labour says there would be dire consequences for employment if Parliament passes these bills. Stay with us. We'll get into the Federation of Labour concerns and also the latest from Parliament here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7.
It's negotiate.
The latest in business and in sports and entertainment coming up over the next 60 minutes here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. Let's settle for the details now. And the Civil and Local Government Staff Association of Ghana, CLOCSAG, is this evening challenging the mandate of the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission over a planned audit of public sector payroll. The Fair Wages and Salaries Commission will from next month embark on a nationwide payroll monitoring exercise aimed at cleaning up the public sector payroll. The Commission, in a public notice, said the exercise to be conducted in collaboration with the key stakeholders would identify and expunge any existing fraud and anomalies in the public sector payroll and also ensure that only approved salaries and allowances are paid. But according to CLOCSAG, the exercise by the Commission will be a duplication of functions, while further alleging an avenue for wealth creation for government persons. Dr. Isaac Boateng, Executive Secretary of the Civil and Local Government Staff Association, CLOCSAG. Take a listen to him.
At a loss about what they are apt to do, because clearly, from what they stated in their public notice, it's got to do with collective bargaining processes. Fair Wages negotiates on the behalf of government, and that's it. They have no business doing what they want to do, because what they want to do is practically payroll audit, and that is not their mandate. You know, some of us, we are at a loss because it's like the number of consultancies that have been given in the name of ghost names is deafening. This is like consultancy to Guru Boys to do other in the name of ghost names. We are sick and tired of ghost names. This is just an avenue to give jobs for the boys. Well, they should change their strategies more. I'm checking if you this strategy here we've heard about it. I'm checking if you cool.
Doc, when we read, I think the second paragraph, it's a word.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When you read it, it boils down to collective bargaining processes, and that's the main aim of Fair Wages. Is to negotiate for government in relation to salaries and wages, and that's the mandate. Where they are taking this thing from, and what this thing says, you can even sit in Accra and then get controller to give figures to compare what is being done. This is not their mandate. They don't have any business doing payroll audit. What capacity do you have in terms of auditing and accountancy? This auditing and accountancy, and you have institutions that deal with this. We have the Internal Audit Agency, we have Controller Accountant General. What business do they have to go and do payroll audit?
They say they are collaborating to all these institutions.
What collaboration? You say they are doing payroll audit. This duplication of functions. And one as a loss, where are they going to get that money from? I can bet my last city that these are consultants that are going out. It is just a job for the Guru boys.
So you think Fergus can?
They don't have that mandate. They don't have the capacity. No, so let's start looking at these things. This is just a drain on public funds. This thing must stop. Fair wages should look at their mandate well. This is not their mandate. When it comes to salaries and wages, their mandate is to look and ensure that we have fair wages. They should look at that and stop looking at someone's mandate. This is not their mandate.
But no, what is wrong with that? Especially when you read the statement is saying that those who might have been engaged in those payroll fraud are likely to go to court. Are these things not clearly?
Is this the first time we are hearing about such an issue? The issue is that not quite long, Audit Service was doing payroll audit. State was doing payroll audit. We go to Ministry of Finance payroll audit. But so far, who has been prosecuted? We have so many payroll. Just count them. This last 2 years, the number of payroll audits that we have been. That's it. I'm check a strategy and few in the it's an insult to our intelligence. I'm check a strategy and few. This job for the boys.
So that's Dr. Isaac Boateng, Executive Secretary of the Civil and Local Government Staff Association, that's CLOCSAG. Now, kicking against this, now the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission has directed heads of public sector institutions to conduct this internal payroll audit. Now, this is to identify and eliminate any existing fraud or anomalies, and in this case, it's called the ghost names. Now, the commission will be embarking on the nationwide payroll monitoring exercise in collaboration with the relevant stakeholders from April 1. Now, this statement that we have from the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission is entreating all boards, councils, and heads of public sector institutions to conduct their own internal payroll audit and clean up ahead of this national exercise. In fact, by this communication, banks and individuals in receipt of fraudulent salaries and allowances are also advised to take steps to refund the same and desist from further fraudulent practices or face the law. So that's what the Civil and Local Government Staff Association is raising concerns about and describing this as a duplication of roles and what they've described as job for the boys. Now, it's something we'll get back to shortly because the Executive Secretary of the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, Engineer Benjamin Arthur, is going to be joining us shortly as we go on here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. Now, we're keeping an eye on what's happening with the Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG, because as you may really be aware, the company has been on a disconnection spree and then also asking that persons who owe them indeed be asked to pay. We won't get into the reactions coming through and what the chief executive, in fact, the managing director of the Electricity Company of Ghana has been talking about shortly. But let's go on to the telephone now. Engineer Ben Arthur is joining us on the telephone. He is the chief executive officer of the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission. Let's get some responses to the concerns of the Civil and Local Government Staff Association, CLOCSAG. Engineer Ben Arthur, thank you so much for joining us on Hot Edition. First off, we've seen or heard...
Your line was very thin.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Great. Now, the CLOCSAG is making a point. They say that this new directive of the audit you intend to embark on is a duplication of roles. An argument that appears to be supported by a number of the other unions as well. How do you differentiate what this is from the work carried out by the Internal Audit Service?
Yeah, thank you very much. Internal Audit Service has its own mandate to do its own internal audit. Fair Wages mandate, and I would like to quote the law to you. A Fair Wages and Salaries Act, Fair Wages and Salaries Commission Act 2007, Act 737, Section 3B, G, L, and N. And let me quote the B, 3B, that is about the functions of the commission. To achieve its objectives, the commission shall B, develop and monitor allowances and benefits of public servants and the consolidation of allowances of public servants. When you go to G, coordinate, manage and monitor collective bargaining processes in which government is a direct or indirect employer. And this, we have done this, we've carried out this function for many years. This is not now. Why would an employee protest that they don't want payroll monitoring, to be carried out. What is their interest? If somebody is not working and the person is getting paid at your expense for you, the one who is working, where lies your interest to come and tell us that the employer has no right in monitoring its own payroll? It's not employees who develop payroll. It's the employer. And in Ghana, sometimes we must be very serious. It's the employer. It's the employer who has developed a pay structure and wants to monitor whether it is being implemented the way it's been designed or not. And the institution that developed the pay structure is Fair Wages. So who in Ghana would want to say that, yes, when we meet them to negotiate, they will accept it. When we develop pay structures, they want it implemented, but they don't want us to go and see whether the allowances that we determine are being implemented or not, whether the basic salaries and the grade structures that we have developed are being implemented or not. Who is not interested in knowing what is happening? And where lies their interest? So it is with our mandate, but possibly this is not the place to argue. So it doesn't come in here nor there at all for any trade union to come and tell the employer that you do not have the mandate to go and conduct payroll monitoring, especially when it is even our mandate and we are the people who develop the structure. Can you tell an engineer who has developed a structure and who is constructing it that during the supervision, he must not even care to know and test the materials that is being incorporated in the work? Can you say that?
I see. Now, hold on a bit for me and take a listen to Dr. Isaac Boateng, who raises concerns about this new directive that you have put out there. And I ask you responses, some of the concerns that he talks about.
Hello,
take a listen.
Hello.
Can you hear
me? Yes, I want to hear you, but we have not put any directive. There is public notice.
No, I'm talking about the communication that you put out there.
It's a notice that we put out there.
Indeed. It's a communication.
And I'm coming. And we advise the entity that it is good that they themselves undertake steps to clean their payroll.
And that's what I made reference to. I mean, the internal auditing before this exercise starts on April 1. I think that's clearly captured in the communication that you put out there earlier. This is Dr. Isaac Boateng raising concerns that represent the Clocksar's position on what you have just put out. Kindly take a listen.
This is like consultation to Guru Boys to do another in the name of ghost names. We are sick and tired of ghost names. This is just an avenue to give jobs for the boys. When they should change their strategies more, I'm checking if you. This strategy here, we've heard about it. I'm checking if you go.
Doc, when you read, I think the second paragraph is the word.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When you read it, it boils down to collective bargaining processes. And that's the main aim of Fair Wages. Is to negotiate for government in relation to salaries and wages. And that's the mandate. Where they are taking this in from. And what this thing says, you can even sit in Accra and then get controller to give figures to compare what is being done. This is not their mandate. They don't have any business doing.
So that's Dr. Isaac Boateng. There is questioning the mandate of your institution, talking about the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, in carrying out the communication that you have put out there. Engineer Benatha.
Yeah. It is not a matter of questioning or not questioning. I've quoted the law. Where is it taught? I've referred you to the Fair Wages and Salaries Commissions Act 2007, Act 737, Section 3D, GLN. So all you have to do is to educate the public by putting it to them that it is the foremost institution that develops and monitors allowances and benefits of public servants. There is no any other institution with that mandate in Ghana to do that. So I do not know of another institution who has that mandate, apart from Article 71 of the Code. The rest is under Fair Wages.
So is this, for instance, also meant to identify what we've known as ghost names over the period where we expunge thousands of these ghost names on a yearly basis from our payroll system?
Yeah, for us, it is our mandate to advise government on matters of payroll, on matters of salaries, wages, grading, and the rest. So when after the monitoring, we'll come out with our findings. We advise the government, the employer, as to the way forward.
And this nationwide exercise starts when exactly?
Hello?
And this exercise nationwide starts when exactly?
It's supposed to start, we'll go out on the field hopefully by second, but we started the backroom engagement and the analysis and the rest already. In fact, we started it last year. So the field work will be commencing in April, the first week of April.
First week of April. We'll see. Thank you so much. Engineer Ben Arthur is the Chief Executive Officer of the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission. A Managing Director of the Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG, says the ongoing revenue mobilization exercise being carried out by the ECG is not politically motivated. Samuel Jubik Mahama says concerns that the exercise is being targeted at some parties, as political parties' base, are unfounded and should be treated with the utmost contempt. Beyond this, he gave details of how much the ECG has been able to rake in as revenue over the last 48 hours.
Oh, so no, that is not 16. ECG distributes power on the southern sector of Ghana. ECG's boundary ends before Sunyani.
Okay, so then you have NETCO and others
taking over from there, yeah.
So how many regions this happening?
We talk about southern Ghana. Start from Ashanti, Eastern, Western, Central, Greater Accra, Volta. Yeah, basically.
Give me an idea of how much you've been able to collect over the last 48 hours.
Last 48 hours, I don't have the exact figures, but I can say on the whole that each day we've seen close to around 40 to 50 million Ghana cedis.
40 to 50 million cedis every day.
Yeah, for the past 2 days. But we're expecting it to grow, and we're expecting it to go up because we haven't had the opportunity to interface with Industry Ghana. Industry Ghana holds a chunk of this bill that we are talking about. These are companies that we classify them as SLTs, Special Load Tariff Customers. They contribute quite a chunk of ECG's revenue. Their line item on their budget is electricity because they are in manufacturing and all of that, but yet they are not paying. So quite a chunk of this number is within that interface, and we intend to collect. We've started interfacing with them in the industrial areas, so we are expecting that the revenue will start growing because with every exercise, there's a steady progression as you move on.
So why do you wait for the debt to pile up, into millions? Then you organize this debt collection exercise for a month and go and collect the money when you can actually track how much the debt is piling up over time.
So this is a business where you are hoping people do the right thing. These SLT customers are on what we call the AMR system. We are able to read their meters remotely. They know they have people in their offices that do reconciliations with that. They know how much they have to pay. We know how much they have to pay. So now the question you need to ask yourself is, they have received their bills. Why haven't they paid?
Well, that's a question that
I don't know why. That's why I'm going there. We are going there because we don't know why they are not paying.
But when you show up,
you show up, you do get. But the truth of the matter is this: you have a last bill if you've not even received a bill, and I keep saying that keep paying on account. But you can't say because you don't have a bill. And now in the case of the SLTs, we both know what your meters are reading. So your bills have been sent out to you. What's your excuse? You have a bill of 1 million cedis, then you pay 200,000. You have a bill of 5 million cedis, then you pay just 1 million cedis, hoping that, you've done. No.
So
you used it for production.
To the extent that when you show up, they pay 20%, 10%, 15% of the debt they owe you. What is a challenge in making this exercise a monthly one, so that you don't wait and then 1 month you put out and then you show up?
In all honesty, that is what the company's policy is going to be moving forward. Because we've realized that when we show up, we get what is due us. Because we are not showing up, that is why. So the board is looking at the policy framework after this exercise to sustain it for one week each month, moving forward.
So every month you show up?
We have to, because clearly now it has showed us that, look, The money out there belongs to you. The money out there belongs to the good people of Ghana. People have consumed. We owe IPPs. We owe power generation companies. We owe Gridco. We owe suppliers. We owe contractors. We don't have an excuse anymore. 5.7 billion is almost 500 million US dollars in the system, and we are not collecting. So anybody who owes should know that right now the conversation has changed.
As Samuel Dubik Mahama, who is a managing director of the Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG, in an exclusive interview with me, further explained that the mass disconnection exercise has become necessary in order to mobilize much needed revenue for ECG. And he says the company is owed 5.7 billion cedis, and they've raised money to pay independent power producers who are also owed in excess of $1 billion.
Come to you and leave with zero. And you cannot also say that you haven't received a bill and that's why you've not paid. You have received a bill before.
There are some people who have those concerns that they've not received the bill. Some of them are asking for the bill. It doesn't come.
You know what your last bill was. You're advised to keep paying that same amount until finally your meter is read and the reconciliation is done. It's in your interest to continue paying that same amount. Because when you're paying that same amount, you are beating down your entire, what you call it, exposure. Because right now that you haven't paid for how long, when we get there and the amount is so huge, what are your expectations? Are you expecting us to forgive the debt?
We
cannot forgive the debt.
Why does it take so long for you to give people meters so that they can be hooked on and you can track their
the conversation is a bit deeper than that. We have 50% of our customers as prepaid and the other 50% as postpaid. Do not forget, you have a prepaid meter. Mm-hmm. So based on the prepaid, you prepay before you consume. So what's the excuse of the other person who, because they have a postpaid meter and they haven't received a bill, that is the fundamental reason why they are not paying their bills? You should be paying something on account. It's in your own interest until finally your meter is read. We have about 2.5 million postpaid meters and we have only 800 meter readers. It's a policy shift that we need to fix because we know it's not sustainable. We know we have our own inefficiencies. Yes, we know we are partly to be blamed, but it's a business. You know you have consumed. So why are you not paying? You're waiting for us to knock on your door? Well, we are here. So what do we do and where do we go from here? Because we cannot allow you to keep consuming when you're not paying.
So what's the plan to convert the 50% of the electricity customers who are on postpaid to prepaid so that, yes, it will solve this problem?
When government came up with that policy of going prepaid, government was hoping to have some huge cash flow to give to the company to just replace everybody's meters. But that didn't happen. This process has to go through a very gradual one to get to that point.
That's the managing director of the Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG, engineer Samuel Dubik Mahama, giving us details of why they are on this path of disconnecting, and that's ECG customers who are owing them, and then also renegotiating some of the debts they are owed. They intend to raise some 5.7 billion cedis that they are owed by both public and private sector institutions. Stay with us here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. I'm going to be giving you a lot more updates. They say that this is a 1 month long exercise that they are on in all the regions that ECG serves. But Parliament is increasingly coming under a lot of pressure not to approve some additional revenue measures proposed by government in the 2023 budget. Amongst them is the Excise Tax Amendment Bill 2022, which seeks to slap a 20% excise tax on locally produced mineral water and beverages, as well as a 5% special levy on profit before tax on all companies, to be known as a growth and stability levy. Now, the Association of Ghana Industries, AGI, and other business sector players who have expressed concerns about the next new tax measure have also petitioned Parliament, urging the House to suspend the excise tax bill. The AGI says companies which are already burdened with high taxes will be forced out of business if the amended bill is approved. Meanwhile, the Ghana Federation of Labour has also called on Parliament to prioritize the plight of Ghanaian workers in the private sector, especially by setting aside the excise tax amendment bill for broader consultation with stakeholders. Accordingly, they've also asked, the Federation says that local manufacturers were already grappling with at least 17 different taxes, and that imposing additional 20% tax could lead to the collapse of some of the businesses. Let's go on to the telephone now. Abraham Kumsin is General Secretary of the Ghana Federation of Labour. He joins us on the telephone. So, Abraham Kumsin, thank you so much for joining us on Hot Edition. So we're monitoring closely what's happening in Parliament now, but what would go into this broader consultation on this excise tax amendment bill that you are proposing for Parliament to take into consideration?
I think Parliament has a responsibility to make sure that the economy grows, but not to do things that will destroy industry and create unemployment. But we've moved together with the AGI. We've been to Parliament to talk to the leadership to let them understand the issues very well, because the taxes, as you rightly mentioned, are too many. Import duty, import VAT, national health insurance, debt fund, COVID levy, net charges, ECOWAS levy, a whole lot of them. Disinfection, spraying, they say they spray the materials that are brought. You can't understand. Too many of them. And these are taxes that are destroying the industry. For us, for the factory owners, they have options. They may, relocate to, where they can get favorable environment to operate. But what about the workers? Can we follow these investors to wherever they are going to go? We can't. So our problem as a trade union is to make sure that the policies of government helps to survive the industry so that we can keep our jobs. That's all. And I don't think that this Parliament will stay there and allow the finance minister to push them to do what is going to wreck the whole economy. I don't think that they'll stay there and do that. They do it, it's up to them. I'm telling you that tomorrow, we are told that tomorrow there's going to be debate on these taxes that Furata has brought to them. But meanwhile, just about a month ago, VAT was increased. Other taxes were imposed. So why? They are the same people who say that. Previously the previous administration was too much, into taxing people and all that. And that when they come, they are going to move from taxation to production. What are we seeing now? They have quadrupled, and what you can, we know that they have their motivation for doing this thing. We know they cannot say that they don't know what they are doing. This government is out to destroy everything. They have to destroy everything. What is it? Is it witchcraft or what? So we're very happy that you have listened to our appeal to air this news. And I wish I could come to your studios. Unfortunately, I traveled somewhere. I just arrived in
definitely. So, but this is a conversation that is not ending today. As you indicated, Parliament is going to consider these taxes tomorrow. So, obviously, this is something that we're just starting the conversation, but obviously it goes beyond today. And then also we'll look at what happens in Parliament tomorrow. But are you asking for this tax to be scrapped, as in that Parliament should not consider this additional 20% tax, or you want a broader consultation with stakeholders to possibly consider a reduction in the tax threshold?
Exactly, because you see, the taxes are too many, and the manufacturers or the factory owners are complaining, and they are threatening to shut down. As union, we deal with them, and so they tell us that, look, if the taxes keep increasing, we can't operate, and then we will shut down and rather also go into importing these finished products and sell. Instead of, manufacturing them here, employing people, and paying even taxes, the normal taxes, to the state. But the way they are increasing the taxes, they can't pay it. It's too much. It's too much. And so what we are saying is that if there's a need for any extra taxes to pay, they should engage them. The AGI is there. Tell them that this is what we want to do. Because even the AGI is they have written serious issues. They have written to the speaker that these are the challenges that they are facing. And so they should make sure that this thing is put on hold for now so that they can discuss and see how best. Otherwise, unless they want to go, let us approve the taxes. They can close down. They can shut down. We don't care. So that's what they are thinking. They should go ahead and do it. And let everybody go onto the street, jobless. Or they can be happy, they can have their peace of mind living in their mansions. But if the unemployment increases, I don't think that any of us will be safe. Maybe I can run to my village, go and hide there. But they should be very, very careful. Parliament, we have appealed to them. We are yet to get responses, but we know that they have received these petitions from GFL, from AGI, and from beverage manufacturers. They have all written.
In fact, apart from these institutions or associations you have mentioned, the latest to joining these calls for these taxes not to be approved by Parliament is the Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana. I've just received a statement from them saying that they are also aware of plans by the Finance Minister and the Finance Committee of Parliament to present before the House of Parliament 2 new tax bills for deliberation and possible passage. The bills, the Income Tax Amendment Bill and the excise duty tax, which according to the Nanado-led government will help show up Ghana's revenue. Then they say they want it to be rejected by Parliament as well. Hold on a bit for me, Mr. Kumsen. I've been joined on the telephone by Executive Secretary of the Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana, Samsi Asaki Awingobit is joining us as well. Awingobit, so why are you asking Parliament to reject these 2 taxes that the Finance Committee intends to lay before the House tomorrow?
I can barely hear you. I don't know if you can hear me.
I can hear you clearly. I'm asking why you are asking Parliament to reject these 2 taxes or the bills that is going to be laid before the House tomorrow.
Okay. Let me say a very big good evening to my mentor, Mr. Abraham Kumsen. And then it's been a long time that I've seen him. I'm sure today your producer will give me his number, then I will have to Alfred, it's quite clear that current dispensation indicators conditions of Ghanaian consumers, Ghanaian workers can no longer be burdened. The burden that they are carrying now, every Tom, Dick, and Harry, I guess, walloping with a heavy, empty packet. Manufacturers, importers, business owners, from 2022 to date, many have wind up, both Ghanaian and non-Ghanaian. As we speak, companies and organizations are not just breaking even, let alone making more profit, and government want to continue taxing them. I strongly believe that if anything to go by, if the government has something better to offer Ghanaians, then of course the government should rather in 2023 State of National Address, we're expecting the president to say, look, having sat down and listened to the complaints by the business community and industry players, we want to abolish certain taxes. We want to reduce certain taxes and not rather calling for Parliament to speed it up by increasing the burden to already overburden that business community are going through. So we strongly believe that these 2 important tax bills that the president is describing as 2 important, we at the Importer and Exporter Association want to describe it as a killer bill, and when that killer bill is being passed, what is going to happen is that it's going to create already the existing unemployment rate that is growing high. Many companies will wind up because they cannot afford. Many manufacturers, especially the carbonated drinks, water, and other things. Many companies, especially those who import those excitable duties products into the country. Many companies, especially those who are not making any after the end of year, they are not even making profit, and you want to tax the person profit after tax. And so I can tell you, these 2 bills, what we are saying is that both House, both the majority and the minority, should totally reject this. Indeed, members of parliament are not in parliament because of their parties. They are in parliament because they are representing the over 30 million people in the country. All of us cannot go to the chamber of the house and to tell government about our concerns. Hence, we put our MPs there to represent our interests. I know many of these MPs come from rural areas. They should get back there and ask them. Rural areas, rural men and women, folks who move to the city to buy goods and come back to rural areas to retail, what is their condition? What are they doing? And I'm quite sure that some of the MPs will be surprised to see that Ajio Mansa has collapsed. Some stores that used to go there and buy a tin of milk or Milo or whatever has collapsed because they can no longer survive. Because when they go any day in, day out, they come to Kumasi, they come to Tamale, they come to Bolga, they come to Accra to buy things. Things keep on going up, prices keep on going up. And so what we are saying is that the two members in parliament, when I say the two members, I'm talking about the majority and the minority, should listen to Ghanaians, should have pity about their constituents. They should not think about their selfish interests, their own stomach, their wife and their children, but they should think about the constituent that they are representing. Right. It is not, if you've been voted to parliament, it's not only your wife and your children who voted you. Okay. It's your constituent. And your conscience deserves better.
And if you go, Ms. Awengobet, hold on a bit for me. If you go on our Facebook page right now, you'll see the statement from the Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana, live on 3FM 927 on Facebook. That statement also raising concerns about these two taxes that we understand the Finance Committee is expected to table before the House tomorrow for consideration and possible passage. Mr. Ocansey, before I let you go, so beyond this statement and this call you're making, what next to put pressure on Parliament not to consider these two taxes that you are pushing for?
If they ignore these calls, then I don't see why this Parliament should be there. Because, I mean, what are they there for? What are they there for? So they are there to create program for society. I can't believe it. I don't think that they will pass these bills. And if they go ahead and do it, okay, I'm not the only person. I represent workers. So it is for the workers to decide as to what to do. Because if they are laid off, naturally and automatically, they will vend it. Even engineers ticket. Retirees demonstrate. How much more? The youthful, energetic young girls and boys. So, my brother, let's see what happens. If they really have this country at heart, and they are not doing things like my brother said to satisfy their own selfish interest, then they should think about the not to borrow to the extent that now, they say by the end of this March, the economy is going to collapse. So if we are all going to collapse, let's all go down. If that's what they want us to believe. But I'm telling you that, look, the workers are agitated. We have managed to, calm them down. But
right.
if they continue to do things that are not good, we will lift our hands off them and then allow them to do their own thing.
Okay, Mr. Ocansey, thank you. And Ms. Awengobet, finally, before I let you go as well, how many taxes? I mean, that's the Federation of Labour counted some 17 different taxes that the local manufacturers are having to pay now. But importers and exporters, how many taxes are you paying in total?
Well, we are already having so much taxes. I'm sure you know about them. Since the government did, I think about 13 taxes or so that have been introduced into the importers. You heard of the 3% salaries that became the talk of the day in town. Then later they changed up to standard tax 17.5%, and also to and then which brought the Kuta Accra strike down and close down shops. Then I'm sure you know about the AU levy that the president introduced some years ago, and I'm sure you know about the COVID-19 levy. We are aware about the financial service tax. The financial service tax levy that was abolished in 2022 because at the time the government at that time introduced it only on our current account.
The government of today said it was a nuisance tax, and they came and they abolished it, but they have introduced it as a cost, as the financial recovery legal. When they collapse the bank. And so many taxes that I can talk to you about it. That is currently running on the bill of the tax bill at the court. So we have a couple of taxes that we introduced, and if they bring this external duty tax to law too, then of course it's going to affect the importers as well.
Okay. Thank you so much for your time. Samson Asakia Wingobit is Executive Secretary of the Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana. Also to you, Abraham Consent, General Secretary of the Ghana Federation of Labour. It's some 20 minutes to the top of the hour here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. And Della Michelle's here with the business news updates. Della?
Yes, Alfred, we're going to just continue from where the conversation left off with regard to these new bills that I hope the two revenue bills proposed by the Finance Ministry, which will be up for consideration in Parliament tomorrow. We've heard from some industry players, but of course, we know that these include the 20% excise tax on water and other sweetened beverages, as well as the 5% tax on profit before tax. These are new policy measures introduced by the Finance Ministry as part of efforts to boost revenue generation. So, of course, Parliament tomorrow is going to be a place for all of us to focus on because of what is going to look out or how it's going to turn out because of these discussions that has already begun ahead of the proposed bills for consideration. But we have more stories, and going on to that, the management consultant, Dr. Daniel Sedo, has called on regulators in the financial sector to desist from encouraging pension fund managers to invest more in government instruments. The situation, he said, denies the private sector access to long-term funds to expand their operations. Management consultant Dr. Daniel Sedo has been explaining why these regulators in the financial sector need to desist from encouraging pension funds managers to invest more in government instruments.
We must look at our regulatory architecture, and our regulators must start taking responsibility. Now, if you take pensions, there's regular money coming. Indeed, pension is bigger than oil. Seriously. The biggest enemy of pension is inflation. Inflation is over 50%. Then you direct people to channel the revenue, the resources they mobilize to government. And so you have over 80% of pension resources being with government. Pension is long-term fund, and you are giving it to government for recurrent expenditure. Look, we are certainly setting up ourselves to fail. How much is government even paying? And if you look at it critically, the return on investment, therefore, is negative. And when the guy goes on pension, he can't enjoy his life.
You heard the voice of management consultant Dr. Daniel Sedo. But he mentioned inflation, so let's stay on inflation because some economists are pushing for the reduction in the policy rate, even as the Monetary Policy Committee of the Bank of Ghana, as we know, began its meetings to assess the health of the economy. The policy rate is usually indicative of the rate at which commercial banks borrow from the central bank, and with inflation still high, over 50%, lecturer at the economics department of the University of Ghana, Dr. Edu Owusu-Sarkodie, says it is prudent for the policy to be maintained if government wishes to fight inflation. This is what happens usually, as we know that the Bank of Ghana is has begun its Monetary Policy Committee meeting. It's expected to last through to Friday, and of course by Monday there will be a result announced. Two things that are being looked at: inflation, of course, and there you have some economists being divided whether there should be a maintenance of the policy rate as it stands now. Some are pushing for an increase, some are pushing for a decrease. Of course, T-bill issues have also, activities on table markets have also been some of the considerations from these economists.
Recent inflation has largely been due to cost push factors. And so, yes, they can fight inflation, but not 100%. I expect that the MPC will maintain the policy rates to maybe further look at the developments in the coming weeks or days. The Bank of Ghana is only using the available tools to correct the imbalances in the economy. The Bank of Ghana is not the only entity responsible for maintaining or controlling inflation and also making government securities attractive. The Ministry of Finance is also supposed to use their fiscal policy to complement whatever the Bank of Ghana is doing.
And you heard the voice of Dr. Edu Owusu-Sarkodie. He is an economics. He's a lecturer at the Economics Department of the University of Ghana. Before we wrap up, international rating firm Fitch has upgraded Ghana's long-term local currency issuer default rating to CCC from RD, what we know as a restrictive default. In addition to this development, Fitch said ratings on local currency bonds issued domestically under the Domestic Debt Exchange Program that have not matured yet have also been upgraded to C or CCC from D. A statement released on its website, however, reaffirmed Ghana's long-term foreign currency, that is the IDR at RD, representing restrictive default. Fitch typically does not assign outlooks to sovereigns with a rating of CCC plus or below. This was added by the firm. And that's all the business news we have for you on Hot Edition, where you log on to 3news.com. There's more business news. My name is Della Michelle Alfred.
Hello, thank you so much. So the finance minister is in China.
That is the indication that we are getting now. And we know that because of how the IMF schedule came out yesterday and Ghana's name was missing from the rest of March. Now everybody is actually on the tenterhooks.
Yeah, and I went onto the IMF's website and there's been some sort of a revision. So that's something that we would look quite closely. Now they've revised the calendar now.
The calendar, yes.
And so Ghana is in there somehow.
So the thing is that they did mention that, of course, this is a tentative calendar, but usually these meetings are also confirmed a day before. So if Ghana has showed up in today's calendar, well, we'll say all the best for us, because economists are really worried if we are not able to meet this March deadline.
But will the economy really crash by the end of March if we don't get an IMF program?
It will have a meltdown. We will, and these are the words. These are the words of Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta himself.
Well, that's where the concern lies.
Yes.
So beyond the IMF program, concerns about, for instance, government cutting down on its expenditure,
which even has been said by the IMF boss themselves. And we had economists, especially Professor John Gachi, saying that this should be heeded because it's not just the IMF or Germany who is speaking, actually the EU that is speaking.
So if we don't get an IMF program by end of March, obviously, government cut down your expenditure so that we can stay afloat.
And it's going to actually impact a lot of things. We're looking at Forex as well. And this is a stance that Joe Jackson from Delax Finance has also mentioned.
We'll see how the coming days will look like.
Indeed.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Flag bearer hopeful. The NDC, that's Kojo Bonsu, says he will rebrand the party, that's the NDC, to make it more attractive, particularly to the youth. He voted to be the leader of the party as flag bearer into the 2024 general elections. He spoke to the media after he filed his nominations at the party head office here in Accra.
Kojo Bonsu is the third to file nomination forms after John Dramani Mahama and Ernest Kweku Krobia to contest the flag bearer race of the NDC. General Secretary of the party, Fifi Kwete, who received the forms, congratulated him for taking such a step and assured all aspirants of a level playing field.
We are happy that your team has been able to go through the processes up to the filing today. We want to use the opportunity to wish you the very best of luck and to also commend you that so far it's been a very beautiful, very united process so far. The campaigning, from everything we have seen so far, we have no cause at all to be alarmed. The unity of the party remains paramount from what we've seen from every single one of you. We just want to urge you to continue in that same light. What is important to appreciate that it's not just an NDC agenda, it's actually a national rescue agenda this time around. And therefore, NDC cannot afford to make a mistake.
Kojo Bonsu told the panel of party officials that it is his desire for the NDC to wrest power from the NPP. The former Kumasi mayor promised to ensure jobs for the youth, build party offices in all constituencies, take at least 2 people from every constituency to work at the Flagstaff House.
I'm bringing something very new, which I call a new style and a new representation into the party. The way we do our things, new ways of doing things and making the party more attractive and a better party. About making sure that the grassroots of the party are part of working for the party. Those down there, we have about 440 delegates who don't even do anything about the party. It's like on top. But I am going from bottom up approach so that all the branches will be involved in all that we do. I'm going to rebuild and rebrand the party. I'm a branding expert. My chances? Yeah. Very bright.
That's Kojo Bonso, flag bearer hopeful of the NDC and the former mayor of Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly. Stay with us here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. We'll be back shortly after this quick break with all the news and entertainment and sports.
Keys. What could be simpler than a key? Who doesn't have a key? A car key, an office key, a drawer key. But there's one key that rules them all. The house key. The key to a place we call home. The key to the home where everything comes together. The key to a home that is our own. A home where we make life happen with our families and loved ones. Adoha has been working hard for over 30 years to make home ownership within reach for many. Say yes to property with Adoha. Your dream home is one call away. Your dream home is a few clicks away. Visit our Accra project, The Place, by calling 030-2789-757.
Alrighty, you're still tuned in to Hot Edition right here on 3FM 92.7. Time now to get to some entertainment news. My name is Kofa. Now coming up on entertainment tonight, Ghanaian disc jockey and singer DJ Azonto is surprised and disappointed that his viral song Fanaform could not make the VGMA Popular Song of the Year category. To him, the VGMA board did a poor job questioning how Stonebwoy's song Therapy, which is less popular, was sneaked into the category while his street anthem was ignored.
Which categories did you put in your
Artist of the Year?
Vodafone
Popular, that one, that is what I found first of all. Yeah. Best New Artist. Yeah.
But how did you feel when you did not find your name?
My family and I, we were watching, we off. In fact, my mother even cried. This is the only song entertaining Ghanaians now. This is the only song that saved Ghana from Amapiano challenges. Fanaform, they don't, you know. But this is the song that won the DJ Song of the Year. Yeah. DJ's favorite song. Yeah. Personally, I felt very disappointed and I felt sad.
The good news is that you got one at the end of the day, New Artist of the Year. That is a big deal, don't you think so?
It is a big deal. I can't say it is not, but Charterhouse hasn't been fair to me. Charterhouse is a house that I respect a lot, and I don't know why they chose Stonebwoy's
Therapy.
But there's one thing I want to tell Charterhouse, and I want to tell Charterhouse that I am blessed and richer than Stonebwoy. So if it is streams they want us to buy, they should have made it clear. I can buy 100 million streams. Mm-hmm. That's what I am hearing.
That they looked at the streams.
Yes, he said, I do not have I don't have streams. Streams are bought.
So
and that's DJ Azonto speaking with my colleague Owusuwa right there. Moving on in a bit, to give budding talents the opportunity to excel, 3 Entertainment has partnered with Charterhouse to project the VGMA Unsung Nominees. For the next couple of weeks, we will be profiling the Unsung Nominees for the 24th Vodafone Ghana Music Awards. Here's a piece on the only female unsung nominee, Maya Blue Dan, by Ajwa Noella. Let's take a listen.
Congratulations. How are you feeling?
I'm excited. I don't know. I'm just happy.
I mean, what did you do when you got the call or you got the email or the text that you have been nominated for this year's VGMA Unsung?
Okay, so that day I was actually having a bad day. Yes, I was. And then I received that message and I was like, well, it wasn't really a bad day after all.
But I mean, let's speak a little about your journey. I mean, how has it been for you personally?
Okay, so it's been fun. It's been amazing. Somehow a bit of a struggle, but I mean, here I am.
What does this mean to you? This is a big step.
It means a lot. I feel like it's actually going to help push my career forward. And I've really worked hard. I'm proud of myself. I'm sorry, but I didn't know I could come this far. I'm so grateful, and I'll really love to go far. So I think this is a stepping stone for me. So I'm happy. It's not really easy being a female and dreaming big. I've always dreamed big,
but I mean, you know your other counterparts. You know your competitors. Who do you think is a threat in the category to you?
I don't think anyone is a threat to anyone. I'm not trying to be, defensive or trying to, but I think the best man win.
And you heard Maya Blue, the only female in this year's unsung category, speaking with 3 Entertainment's Ajwa Noella there. Moving on, rapper Medical has vowed never to do a music collaboration with fellow rapper T-Flow. According to the hitmaker, T-Flow envies him, a reason he doesn't want to work with him. He spoke on the 3FM Drive with Giovanni Caleb and AJ Sapong.
This guy, T-Flow, you will never ever. Nah. You don't see yourself doing the music. He's envious of me. He's jealous of me. He hates me. He doesn't wish me well. He wishes to be in my position. Whoa. Like he be them people some. He made a statement way back in COVID. He was like, I think I bought a Range Rover, right? I signed a new deal with Huawei, and then I felt like, let me just get this Range Rover. Of course. And I got the Range Rover for myself. And he tweeted something. He did an interview, and then he said in the interview that which artist is playing shows and can get money to buy a Range Rover. He was trying to say I'm doing something illegally. You get me? Right. So when you put me in that position, what are you trying to say?
You're trying to bring me down, yeah.
What was all the problem, Bremy? I just said, But you then, how many projects that you did up? Or they not tell you? That was before. Oh, you get me? That was before. Maybe later my mind will change, but right now that's how I feel.
Like this guy doesn't.
Because he was my guy. Like if he come my house, we did play game, we did talk on video call. You get me? So I don't know why he said that. I don't know what made him say that. You go if he talks to medical shot. He said a lot of things. Medical they rap. Me and my doctor, that one to be rap. All those things me and they take out and say, no be anything. Maybe he did tease me in showbiz. But when you go a bit deeper like that.
And that's Medical having a conversation with Giovanni Caleb and AJ Kwaku-Sapong. And that's how we wrap up on Entertainment, powered by 3 Entertainment. My name is Kofa. Alfred Ocansey is taking over.
Thank you so much. All the news in the world of entertainment. You can find more news on 3news.com. Make some time and visit 3news.com for some more updates as well. And then also join me at 10 p.m. on TV3 for Ghana Tonight. Stay with us here on 3FM 92.7. The drive continues with Giovanni and DJ Faculty. I am Alfred Ocansey. Have a great evening.